Hello everyone. In this we will be discussing about the module 3 of Power Electronics and Instrumentation. Myself Deepashri AP. The complete syllabus for the module 3 is given. In that I will be covering inverter in this video lecture. Now coming, what is inverter? So we already came across this word. It is not a new word to us. So by guessing we can say that DC to AC power converter is called inverter. An inverter changes a DC input voltage to a symmetric AC output voltage of required magnitude and frequency. Output can be fixed or varied. Now the sum of the classifications, that is according to method of commutation, according to method of connection. This can be classified according to the method of commutation, according to the method of the connection. So according to the method of commutation, it is classified as line commutated inverters and forced commutated inverters. In line commutated inverters, in an AC circuit, AC line voltage is available across the device. When current in the SCR goes through zero, SCR turned off. That is current through the how the SCR is turned off when the current through in the commutation techniques of SCR. We have already studied that in the thyristor commutation technique. That is when the current through the SCR becomes zero, the SCR is commutated. This process we call it as natural commutation. The inverter based on this principle is called line commutated inverter. Now forced commutated inverters. In DC circuit, the supply voltage does not go through 0 point. That is, we know that in case of AC it will be having positive and negative half cycle, but in case of a DC it is a straight line. It doesn't cross the 0 point. Some external source is required to commutate the device and called forced commutation process, and this type of inverter is called forced commutated inverters. As it is forcefully commutated, this type of inverters require complicated circuits. Since we forcefully commutate the inverter, it requires a complicated circuits or external circuits for the commutation purpose. So according to this, they are again classified as auxiliary commutated and complementary commutated. According to the connection, inverter is classified as series, parallel and bridge. In case of bridge, we can see that half bridge and full bridge. Now let us see single phase half bridge voltage source inverter. So this is the circuit for the half-wave bridge inverter. It consists of switch S1 and S2 and a gate commutated device such as BJT, MOSFET, GTO, IGBT. So this can be used as the switch here. That is BJT, MOSFET, GTO, IGBTs can be used as the switch here. When closed, this switch conducts and the current flows in the direction of the arrow. So when the switch is closed, it conducts and current flows in the direction of arrow. Now we will discuss about R load. Operation divided into two periods. That is, period 1 when S1 is conducting from 0 to T by 2. See here we can see this is the one complete time period. From here to here it is the time period. So let it is divided into two periods. Till here one period, and from here to here it is the another period. So period 1, that is S1, at this time S1 is conducting and here S2 is conducting, and the T time period is equal to 1 by F, where F is the frequency of the output voltage. When S1 is closed for T by 2, it connects the point P, that is when this is closed, S1 is closed, it connects the point P of DC source to the point A. Point P gets connected to point A and the output voltage is plus EDC by 2. So output voltage will be plus EDC by 2. This voltage will appear across this load. It is plus EDC by 2. And at T by 2, gating signal is removed from S1. It turns off. That is at T by 2. At this, when it reaches this point, the gating signal of this is removed. S1 is removed and it turns off. For the next half period of T by 2, for the next half period of T by 2 less than T less than time period T, gating signal is given to S2. So for this S1 is gating signal is given. For this gating signal for S2 is given. Now it connects point when S2 is gating is given to S2. It connects this point N to A. Point N of DC source to point A, and the output voltage reverses. So we can see it is minus EDC by 2 is the output voltage. Thus by closing S1 and S2 alternately for half time period, a square wave AC voltage is obtained at the output. With resistive load, load current is identical to the output load. By controlling the time period of the gate drive signal, frequency can be varied. Diode D1 and D2 does not play any role. Voltage across the switch when it is off is EDC. So when the switch is off, the voltage across this is EDC. Gating circuit should be designed in such a way that switches S1 and S2 should not turn on at the same time. So switching signal S1 and S2 should not turn on at the same time. IS1 is the current flow through this, IS2 is the current flow through the switch S2, and the load current, that is I0. See, IS1 flows only when S1 is conducting. At S2 it will be off. It is 0. S2 IS1 doesn't flow. In the same way, IS2 flows only when S2 conducts. We can see that. Rest of the time it is 0. And load current flows in both the cases, both is when S1 conducts as well as S2 conducts. So we can see here, load current is positive when S1 conducts, and when S2 conducts the output voltage is negative. The current will be also negative. The voltage across S1, it will be, when it is off, it will be EDC. This will be the drop across the device, which we used as the switch here. Single phase half bridge with inductive load, that is load is in the load we use inductor, that's why it is inductive load. In the previous it was resistive load, so here the load is inductive. So in this, to explain this, then it is complete operation is divided into 4 intervals, that is mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, mode 4. The figure we can see in the slide, but all the four modes, and in this we can see when the switch is closed, the current path as well as the current path in all the four modes, and the operating of diodes or the switches in that particular mode, that is freewheeling diode. Let us go into more deep by looking into the waveform. So here we can see the voltage and current waveforms with RL load, that is inductive load. So this waveform shows the load current as well as the load voltage. This is the load voltage and this linearly increasing is the current. First mode 1, here we can see mode 1 is starting from the point T1 to T2. So at mode 1, S1 is turned on at T1 and the load voltage is equal to plus EDC by 2, and positive load increases load current, it increases gradually. At instant T2 it reaches the peak value, that is at the instant T2 load current increases and reaches the peak value. S1, so at instant T2 S1 is turned off due to same polarity of load voltage and load current. The energy is stored in the load. So due to same polarity of load current and load voltage, the energy will be stored in the inductor, that is load. Now coming to the second mode, say mode 2. This is mode 2. It starts from T2 and ends at T3. At this point, due to inductive load, load current will be maintained same even after S1 is open. That is S1 is off now at this mode 2, but even after S1 is off, the load current will be maintained same because of the inductive load. The self-induced voltage across load will be negative. Self-induced voltage, it is negative across the load. Here we can see that is minus EDC by 2. The load current flows through lower half of the supply and D2. In this interval, diode, freewheeling diode D2 is on, and the load current flows through the lower half. In this interval, energy stored is fed back to the lower half of the source, and load voltage is minus EDC by 2. So through freewheeling diode, the stored energy is fed back to the supply, and the output load voltage is minus EDC by 2 during second mode. See, minus EDC by 2. Now from T3 to T4, at this instant, load current goes to 0, indicating that all stored energy has been returned back to the lower half of the supply. So at T3, load current becomes 0. See, here we can see that charging after it, using freewheeling diode, it is charged, and now it is 0 at T3. So S2 is again on or closed. This will produce a negative voltage, VY equal to minus EDC by 2. So S2 is on, and if when S2 is on, it will produce a negative voltage. Then output voltage will be equal to minus EDC by 2 and the negative load current. So output voltage is minus EDC, and from T3 to T4 it will be negative load current, and at T4 it reaches the peak value. Load current negative, peak at the end of this interval, that is at mode 4. I can say this as mode 4. From Conduction period of the switch. For purely inductive load, a transistor conducts only for T by 2 period. This is the half, that is T by 2 period or 90 degree. For purely inductive load, a transistor conducts only for T by 2 period or 90 degree. So when it reaches here, S2 will be off and next D1 will be on. That is freewheeling diode D1 will be on and load current will return to the supply, fly back to the supply and then decreases to 0. When it reaches 0, again S1 on, the process repeats. This is the current through the S1, that is till this S1 is off, so it will be 0, and after this S1 is on, the current flows, and again S1 is on at this instant, so only at that time the current will be flowing, and that is energy stored by the load. So from here to here energy is stored, and from here to here it reduces to 0. So same way IS2 will be flowing only when the S2 is on. So S2 is on at this instant and this instant. So we have the current there. ID1 and ID2, that is the current flowing through the diode. So from here it is negative and it discharges, there it will be flowing, and from here to here D1 will be on and the current will be flowing. Energy returned back to, this is the energy returning back to the supply, and ID2 will be on after this T2. So at this instant ID2, again at this instant it will be, ID2 will be flowing. Single phase full bridge inverter with R load. In order to develop a positive voltage across the load, the switch S1 and S2 are turned on simultaneously, whereas to have a negative voltage EDC across the load, S3 and S4 should be turned on. D1, D2, D3, D4 are the feedback diodes because energy feedback takes place through diodes when load is inductive. Operations are divided into two different intervals in one cycle of the output, that is mode 1 and mode 2. So here we can see the circuit for the full bridge inverter. It consists of S1, S2, S3, S4 and D1, D2, D3, D4 are the 4 diodes, and switch is connected. So it looks in the bridge format. Connection is made in the bridge format, and plus EDC is provided at the input for the input of the full wave bridge. Now let us see the module equivalent circuit for mode 1 and mode 2. So in the mode 1 we can see that S1 and S2 that is S1 and S2 are closed, and the current flows, the flow of current in this mode 1, it is shown that current flow direction flow in this direction, and see here we can see the waveform. So from 0 to T naught by 2, it is a mode 1. From 0 to T naught by 2. From T naught by 2 to T naught, it is mode 2. So at this point, from here to here, switch S1 S2 on, and load voltage is plus EDC, and load current flows from A to B. That is S1 and S2 both are on, so load voltage is plus EDC plus V, we can see here plus EDC, since we have given that as input voltage as EDC, so it is plus EDC here, and current flows from A to B, that is from point A to B, as we seen in the previous slide. The mode 1 equivalent circuit we have seen, so in that we can see that at T naught by 2, at this point S1 and S2 are off and S3 and S4 are on. At this point S1 and S2 are off and S3 and S4 are on. So from here to here it is mode 2. When S3 and S4 are on, load current flows from B to A, that is from this point to this point, that is S3 and S4 is on, and the load current flows from B to A at T equal to T naught. At this instant Q3, that is S3 and S4 off and S1 and S2 on. At this instant S3 S4 off and S1 S2 is again on. As load is resistive, it does not store any energy, therefore feedback diodes are not effective here. Since our load is resistive, the diodes doesn't play any role in this, since our load is purely resistive. Single phase full bridge inverter with inductive load. We already discussed resistive load, and in that the operation was complete operation was divided into two modes. Here we can see it is divided into four modes: mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, mode 4. And the equivalent circuit for each mode as well as the current flow, it is shown that in the equivalent circuit of all the modes as well as the current flow directions. So here we can see that mode 1 S1 and S2 is closed, that is on, and the current flows in this direction from P to Q. In the same way in mode 2, that is S2 is open, S1 is open, but the current flows through this diode, that is D4 and D3, and the path is shown here. In the load the same direction it is, and here that is S3 and S4 is closed and the load voltage is minus EDC, and the current flow it is shown here in this way. And in mode 4, the diode D1 and D2 is conducting, other S3 and S4 will be open and the current will be flowing in this path. Now let us discuss that with the help of waveform. So here we can see voltage and current waveform. So it is divided into complete four modes, that is first from T1 to T2 it is mode 1, T2 to T3 2, T3 to T4 mode 4, mode 3, mode 4, either it is from mode 4 we can consider either this one or T4 to T5, any one. Now coming to mode 1 or interval 1 from T1 to T2. So it is from T1 to T2. At this point S1 and S2 is on. So when S1 and S2 is on, point A gets connected to the positive point of source EDC through S1 and B gets connected to the negative point of the input supply. That point A gets connected to the positive point of EDC and B gets connected to the negative point of the input supply. Now VO will be equal to plus EDC, the output voltage. Now load current starts increasing. So at the point load current starts increasing due to the inductive nature of the load. Instantaneous current through S1 and S2 is equal to the instantaneous load current. The energy is stored into the inductive load during this interval of operation. So energy will be stored, load current increases and energy will be stored. So here we can see that at this instant energy is stored in the inductor. Now at the second interval, that is from T2 to T3. At T2 both the switches S1 and S2 is off, but load current does not reduce to 0. See, at this instant both S1 and S2 is off. Even if it is off also, load current does not go to 0 since we have used the load as the inductor. So in order to maintain the flow of current in same direction, there is a self-induced voltage across the load. So there will be a self-induced voltage across the load. The polarity of this voltage is exactly opposite to that in the previous mode. That is VO will be minus EDC. See here we can see that at instant T2 output voltage is minus EDC. But load current continues. But what it happens, the load current continues to flow in the same direction through S3 and S4. That is, load current flows in the same direction through S3 and S4. So here we can see that load current in the same direction through S3 and S4. The stored energy in the load inductance is returned back to the source in this mode. That is what it happens at this mode. So whatever the energy stored in the inductor, it returns back to the supply. D1 and D4 are feedback diodes. The load current decreases exponentially and goes to 0 at instant T3. At instant T3 load current, so from this point to here it decreases and at T3 it becomes 0. When all the energy stored in the load current return back to the supply, D3 and D4 off at T3. So at T3, D3 and D4 will be off. Now interval 3, that is from T3 to T4. From T3 to T4, that is the mode 3. So here S3 and S4 is on, load voltage will be minus EDC, but the direction of load current will be reversed and become negative. The direction of load current will be reversed and it will be negative. The current increases exponentially in negative direction. It increases exponentially in negative direction. And the load again stores energy in this mode. So load stores energy in this mode. Here we can see it stores energy in this mode. Now coming to the last mode, that is from T4 to T5 or from here to here, that is T0 to T1. At this T4, at the time at T4, the S3 and S4 is off. Load inductance tries to maintain in the same direction by inducing positive load voltage. This forward biases D2. The load stored energy is returned back to the input. DC supply. Load voltage is equal to plus EDC, but the load current remains negative and decreases exponentially. At this instant, we can see that load voltage is plus EDC, but load current it starts decreases in the same direction, in negative, and it decreases to 0. At T5, load current goes to 0 and S1 and S2 on again. So at the T5 point, S1 and S2 is on again and the process repeats. So this is the current across the switch IS1 and IS2. So here will be S1 and S2 will be on. So it will be flowing from T1 to T2 and T4 to T5. Then ID1, direct current will be flowing from T4 to T5 and T0 to T1. IS3, that is the current flowing through the switch. When S3 and S4 is on, it will be on only at T3, T3 to T4 and again T3 to T4. That instant. ID3 will be from T2 to T3, the current will be flowing. That is D1, D3 and D4 will be on at this instant. Now supply current. This is VC sat. It goes linearly increases. Once it reaches peak voltage, then it reduces. Again linearly increases and it repeats. So this way, this is the waveform for single phase full bridge inverter circuit. Thank you. Please refer my blog Explore Electronics. The path is provided there. Do subscribe my channel for the notifications and updates. Press bell icon. Thank you.